bridal mistake, that brides do that can ruin their pictures?
Also, try and not apply your liner and kajal at the same time.
What's the difference between contouring and bronzing?
You should not go for any chemical treatments on your hair. Like
Females makeup kit, okay? I am really very curious to know about this. Okay? क्या होना चाहिए and क्या throw कर देना चाहिए?
if you have acne all over your cheeks and texture on your face, then airbrush will work very well because
So बहुत confusion होता है कि liquid blush लेना चाहिए या cream blush लेना चाहिए.
commonly known as banana powder. It is used for most of the Indian skin tones.
Welcome to Unscripted with Kena Shah, powered by Shankus Season 1. So let's be honest, we have all had those days when the mirror does not reflect how we feel from inside. But what if I told you that makeup done with the right hands can easily transform not only your appearance but also your confidence? So our today's guest is somebody who highly believes and lives on this truth every single day. Please welcome the very talented Sajni. Hi Sajni, welcome to the show. Please feel comfortable. So Sajni, what's that one moment that made you believe that, I'm exactly where I want to be?
So while I was preparing for CA entrance exams, back then there were like 80-90 students in one class, and I felt like everybody else was more passionate than me, and I couldn't outgrow them in my class. And then that was like kind of a very low period in my life, and I would go back home after a 12-hour class and watch YouTube videos, and that would make me feel very good, and I would get inspired, try on new makeup looks, experiment with smoky eyes because that was the easiest to do. And I felt like I really want to learn this and also help others feel very confident how I felt.
So that's how your journey actually started. You realize that this is something that I really want to, you're very passionate about it and you really want to take this forward. So what's that one belief or quote, you personally use it, while you are getting ready or applying makeup on your skin? Is there any?
Yeah, I feel like you should wear your confidence before you wear your makeup.
Yeah. Most of the times where we female lack a little bit is that, we don't feel that confident. We feel that, we are less, or maybe we won't be able to do certain things.
Yeah, I know. Like how you feel about yourself, the world is going to see you that way.
So Sajni, as a makeup artist, what's the first thing that you see, when a client's walk in?
I try to look at their best feature and keep in mind that I really want to enhance that, and also decide my makeup look according to the client's personality. So for example, if a client is wearing a red lehenga and they have a really good lip shape, and I would ask them if they're okay with a bold lip color because that's going to be the best feature on their face. Like you have really good lips, so I really want to highlight that. And if it's me, I'm somebody who cannot wear bold lips, especially on a day event. So I would go with something neutral or nude.
And also, what's the difference between contouring and bronzing?
So bronzing can be done on the entire face, and a contour is done to sculpt your features. Like if you have a thick nose, then you can contour that and basically create shadows to sculpt your face and sharpen your features. It can be done to hide your double chin or uplift your cheekbones. And contour is a matte powder that comes in cool undertones, and a bronzer is mostly warm undertone, and it has shimmer a little bit.
Also, what are the mistakes according to you, females make when it comes to makeup?
The most common mistake that I see is that people apply foundation but they skip on their concealers.
Yes, I do that mistake. Yeah. Why is it that?
Because if you don't apply a concealer, you'll end up applying more foundation and it will not even do the job. So basically, when you do your base, your goal is to make sure that you have an even skin tone, and that only will happen when you use a concealer.
Right.
You need to apply where there's discoloration, under eyes, where there's dark circles, and maybe if you have pigmentation around the mouth. So if you apply the right amount of concealer in the right areas, then you will have to use less foundation.
Okay.
And that will help you not looking cakey.
Okay.
You need to prime your skin very well. That is, moisturize very well before you start your makeup. That's a very first step.
Okay.
You should not have dry spots anywhere.
So you should moisturize it first very well.
The first step is moisturizing. The next step is applying your concealer in the right spots. You need to look at your face and figure out, like, if I look at you, you do not have a lot of discoloration, but maybe a little bit under the eye and a little bit on the mouth area. So those are the two areas where I feel, and very little goes a long way. So try and build your concealer. So apply it on the right areas, and after that use maybe 1 or half pump of foundation all over the face, and then set it with a loose powder.
And how do you choose on the concealer and foundation? Because most of the times we make this mistake there.
Yeah. So when you are going out to select your foundation, you need to do a patch test, and like make sure you do a small patch test on your cheek, and it should match with your neck.
Right.
And leave it for some time.
5 to 10 minutes is ideal. Ideally, you should keep it.
Yeah.
If it merges, then it's your shade, right?
Yeah, of course. So let it settle down. And then if you feel that, it is the perfect shade for you, I think you should go and buy that. And for your concealers, you can buy 1 tone lighter, because that will really help you, have a fresh look under the concealer that you apply under the eyes. That should be 1 shade lighter.
Okay. Correctors का काम क्या होता है? And why? Because lots of time you will see, under eyes are either fluffy or grey, right? So what is the hack?
So if you have very prominent dark circles that it's either black or gray, then you have to use a corrector. For you can skip a corrector because you don't have very prominent dark circles, but somebody who's like, mostly brides do have, because they have sleepless nights and they're tired all the time. So for them we need a peach or an orange corrector. So it's a color theory. The only color that corrects the grays and black is orange or red. So you should use that, and over that you must apply your concealer. If you go directly with your concealer, you will end up looking very gray and ashy.
Also, Sajni, is there any product that you feel that women are overusing when it comes to makeup?
Yeah, I think people are using a lot of kajals all the time, even without knowing if it's gonna suit them or not. And I would want to, throw more light on this topic. Kajal, there are 2 types of kajal. One is a gel liner and one is a wooden kajal. So the gel doesn't last very long. It smudges very easily, but the wooden ones last longer. And we also have different types of colors available. So you don't have to stick to a black one. We have brown kajals, burgundy is a new color. And those kind of kajals will actually take attention and not even overpower your look.
Yeah, it will instantly elevate your look.
Yeah.
It won't look like basic kajal aapne ki hai.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
And according to you, what do you think one should apply kajal kahan pe?
I think kajal should be applied on your lower lash line. And then blend it with the smudger, so it will not look very harsh. And also try and not apply your liner and kajal at the same time
together, right?
Yeah,
because it takes away the attention. Is that the reason?
I think it makes your eye look very small. Either do a liner or do a kajal.
Okay, and depending, of course, on the event, basically, where you are heading towards, right? Also, how is social media shaping beauty industry? Is it getting better or worse?
I think it has its own positives and negatives.
Right.
If we talk about the positives, it is very easy for us to take inspiration and pre-decide your looks depending on the celebrities or new trends. Also, it's very easy for you to know about new products in the market, whether it's good to invest your money in or not. And also, one more positive is how to, learn makeup. You can watch and learn makeup very easily.
Like how you started.
Yeah, like how I started. And the negatives are, there's instant comparison. People feel like they can recreate celebrity wedding looks and look exactly like them.
And also the glass skin
makeup,
right?
That is like the new trend these days.
Yes. So when we are talking about celebrity, right, what is something that people should stop believing when it comes to celebrity makeup?
I feel like everybody feels that the celebrities don't have under eye wrinkles or smile lines. That's
Yeah.
not true. They also have smile lines and wrinkles, but it's just filtered in a better way.
And it's beautifully edited, you know.
Yeah,
In case if they
exactly.
have, and even the makeup
Yeah.
will be covering a lot of things, you know, the flaws. And that's why, you know, like you mentioned, the techniques like contouring and bronzing comes into play, right? To
Yeah.
make it flawless.
If you see now, there are a few reels on Instagram where they, zoom in client and celebrity images to, showcase that
Right.
they really have wrinkles and fine lines.
Definitely, because we are in Ahmedabad and a lot of other cities, because of the humidity and the weather here, a lot of times our makeup does not last long. Is there any technique or products one should be using according to you?
Yeah, so there are like two ways how you can, help your makeup stay very long. One is setting your base very well. Setting means using a powder or a compact to, lock your foundation very well. So there should be a matte finish first, and then you can go with your liquids or highlighter. And the next step is using a setting spray. We
Okay.
have a lot of good setting sprays in town like Urban Decay or Derma. So, that will help not budge your makeup.
So Sajni, most of the times, it happens that flake outs होते हैं, after doing your makeup. तो वो क्यों होता है?
There are two reasons for that. First, you've not moisturized your skin very well. Enough hydrate नहीं करते तब skin obviously वहाँ से breakout होगा, and you'll end up having more creases. And the next thing is you mixing two kind of formulations.
Right.
First, you use all your creams and liquids, and then you use your powder. And over that, if you go again with a liquid or a cream, it is not going to blend in very well. So, yeah.
Also, is this a myth or not? Please help me understand that people suggest कि आपका foundation और concealer same brand का होना चाहिए, otherwise उसकी वजह से भी flake outs होने के chances बढ़ जाते हैं. So do you think that that's correct?
No, I don't think so, because we as makeup artists use different kind of brands. For like for concealer we use a separate brand, and for a foundation we use
So
a
that's
different
basically a myth. It's not
yeah
correct,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So sometimes what happens is कि किसी के upper lip is fuller than the lower lip and vice versa, right? So how do you balance out?
For that you need to use the right lip pencil.
Okay.
And draw out your lip accordingly to balance it. And you can also use a lighter tone on the middle of your lower lip. So that'll help make the lip very fuller.
And that will add the
More
volume,
yeah.
so that it will look like
Even,
yeah.
yes.
So what do you think, according to you, is matte lipstick really going to stay or make a comeback?
I feel like matte lipsticks are here to stay, because there are a few reasons for that. It has a great color payoff. They don't need touch-ups, and they're smudge proof. So I think there's no substitute for that.
And also, when do you wear red lipstick and nude lipstick?
So it depends on the client's preference, because nowadays people are headstrong that they want to wear this or that, but also depend on your outfit and function. So if you're having like earthy tones, like deep undertones, I would really want that they wear a bolder lip color to elevate the look and not make your face look very washed out. But if you're wearing a pastel or an ivory or lilacs, maybe you can go with subtle lip tones to really keep the same language of your outfit.
Like, I personally don't know how exactly to use mascara, right?
Yeah.
So how to use mascara, and how do you remove it? Because most of the times the lashes also comes out.
This is a very common mistake which everybody does, is that when they have a mascara they pump the wand inside, and that will make your mascara dry in a few uses, and then it's of no use. So you always roll your mascara, and then you take out the wand and remove the excess, the plump that is on the end of the wand. You remove that, and then look up and then apply your mascara. So it will not have clumps on it, because you've already removed the excess.
Right.
But also no pumping, because that will, push the air inside and dry out your mascara very easily. And when you apply your mascara, you have to be very sure of how you're removing it, because you'll end up, having fallouts from your own lashes. So you, very easy and accessible for everybody is coconut oil. You take it in a cotton swab and then gently massage on your eyes and remove it. And it will remove your makeup and also hydrate. So you will not have, a very dry skin after that.
Oh, that's a very interesting fact to know, right? And so foundation को भी ऐसा करना चाहिए before you apply. I've seen a lot of professionals doing it.
Yeah.
So what is the actual reason? Why do they do this to the products?
Yeah. So when the bottle lies there on the table for a really long time, the oils kind of separate from the foundation. So they want to make sure that everything is evenly mixed and then you take it out with a pump or a stick.
Right. Airbrush and HD makeup, right? So what's actually the real difference? I don't understand.
This is one question I've been answering since past 10 years.
But layman के हिसाब से देखते जाओ, it's just the texture. Maybe you get the smooth or for long lasting. Right.
So if you ask me, my personal favorite is HD makeup, the one that you apply with your hands, because over there you have more control on the amount that goes on the client's face. And airbrush is just a fancy technique of applying makeup. But also that it is very fascinating that your makeup applies with a gun. So brides are very keen that, I want to go with the airbrush makeup. So... But it is not necessary. But at the same time, if you have acne all over your cheeks and texture on your face, then airbrush will work very well, because it's like a spray paint. It has a very fine texture, so it will
even out.
Yeah, it will even out very well, and it will not form those thick, cakey layers on your skin. So it depends on the skin type, but HD gives you more control. And for a acne prone skin, airbrush is better.
Okay, and long lasting सबसे ज़्यादा क्या रहता है? HD या
I think airbrush stays longer.
Okay.
Because it has silicone inside. So yeah, it will help your makeup stay very long.
Also, what are the ways to do your makeup?
So there are multiple ways of applying makeup. First is the most common, use your brushes. Second is beauty blender. And the third is using your fingertips. I teach a lot of my students. I used to take a lot of makeup workshops, and I would teach them to apply foundation or concealer with their fingertips, because it actually, brings in the warmth of your hand and helps blend your makeup very, very easily.
Right.
For brushes, makeup artists use them most of the time for hygiene purposes, and it's very easy to evenly, blend all over the face and the neck. So it covers a more area on your face.
Okay.
And a beauty blender is also used when you're heavy-handed. So, there are a few people who always end up applying a lot of foundation on their face, and then they feel like, oh my god, there's so much on my face now, how to undo this. So that's when a beauty blender comes into place, and once you wet it with the water and squeeze out the excess, you dab it all over your face, and that will take out the excess, and then you can go ahead, because it will take out the excess on your face.
Okay. And like you mentioned about brushes, right? So what's the right way, to clean those brushes?
So there are multiple products available on the market. They have those brush cleansing balms. You wet your brush and then you swirl around the balm, and then you remove the excess from your hand and squeeze out in the same shape that it has, and then lay it on the towel. Make sure that you don't put it in a brush holder immediately when it's wet, because the water is going to go down and then the bristles come out very easily.
Okay, and how often should you be doing this cleansing?
I think you should do it for your personal uses. You should do it after 3 to 4 uses.
3 to 4 uses.
Not very often also.
And Sajni, what happens is when you go, to buy cosmetics, most of the time, because of so much of variety of products, you get confused, right? So बहुत confusion होता है कि liquid blush लेना चाहिए या cream blush लेना चाहिए, right? So what do you recommend?
So now if you want to apply blush on your bare skin, tab tinted blush or a liquid blush is used. But there's one problem, that you have to immediately blend it. If you don't do that, then you'll end up, having a stain on your face.
Yeah, because of the strong pigmentation that it
in
has.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And for a cream blush, you can use it on your foundation, but you need to lock it with a powder of the same tone.
Right.
Nowadays we have these blushes available that come in a cream and the powder on the same compact.
Oh, so it's so easy.
Yeah, it's very easy. So you cannot use the cream alone by itself. You need to lock it with a powder that is of the same tone.
Oh, so it stays longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And there is also something like yellow powder and pink powder, right?
Yeah.
So why the shades are different and what's the use?
Yeah. So very commonly known as banana powder. It is used for most of the Indian skin tones that have a yellow undertone or a wheatish undertone, and the pink powders are used for fair to medium skin tones to make you look very fresh and awake. So for the lighter tones, you cannot swap with the yellow powder. That will make them look very dull, ashy and tired. So you need to make sure that what undertone you are. Either you come in the fair to medium category or the wheatish yellow category.
And that is how you choose
your powders.
Which powder you should be going.
Yeah, exactly.
And powder kahan pe apply karna chahiye?
So you start with your under eyes first, wherever you have fine lines and wrinkles, and then all over the face.
Okay. And blush?
Blush should be only on the high points of your cheeks.
Okay.
But in a very slanting position, not like blob on your cheek, because that will make you look very round.
Yeah.
So make sure that you start from the back and then the least comes in the front in a very faded way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And while applying lipstick, is there any rule that you used to, because what happens is most of the times with me, I've seen I use matte lipstick a lot compared to glossy, right? So it becomes very chappy.
Yeah.
So lipstick के ऊपर कुछ लगाना चाहिए या lipstick लगाने से पहले कुछ लगाना चाहिए?
Yeah, so what people do is they apply a lip liner, but they only apply on the outer lines only. But you need to apply your lip liner all over the lip, and then go with the same family of lipstick and then dab it over. And for the gloss, if you want to use a gloss, just use it on the center, like the pout of your lip. So you'll not feel very sticky or chappy, but it'll give you a nice dimension to the lips.
Okay. And you are known for, for the bridal makeup, right?
Yeah.
So what are the challenges, brides face when it comes to her D-Day?
So now people before, they were not, so used to makeup, so they barely knew what's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
But nowadays people are very confident and they're okay to experiment. They've done makeup multiple times. So these days clients are very clear and they know what they want. But there's one challenge that they've never seen themselves getting ready as a bride.
Yeah.
So there's always this anxious feeling within them. Yeah. So I also work as a therapist sometimes.
So you just tell them that, don't worry, at the end of the day it will come
together. Yeah.
Yes.
I ask them for 20 minutes, like let the base settle down and let it, stay a little longer, and then they are very happy. Like,
that's great. I think most of the times now, because of social media, they would be having references, from maybe celebrity
all the time,
or maybe Pinterest
all the
boards.
time. Yeah. So when the client's outfit and jewelry is done, they come to us for a consultation, and at that time we do ask them to save pictures of what they like, and I will also share my own opinion, and we will come to a common conclusion of what to take inspiration from, what is something that's really great in trend and things like that.
And also, what is that one bridal mistake that brides do that can ruin their pictures?
They go overboard with their makeup look. Okay. And it doesn't make them look like themselves. So they look like a different person on the picture. That is one mistake. And another one is that sometimes makeup artists, take the concealer too high, and that makes their eyes look very small. Clients aake bolte, please don't make me look like a Chinese person.
Yes.
So that is one thing.
Okay, and anything else that they should be looking? Because what happens is, like, if I take my example, I'm not used to with makeup, you know, so most of the times even for events I try and avoid कि makeup मैं करती नहीं हूँ तो मुझे सूट ही नहीं होगा, you know, so I always hesitate and I have this fear that, you know, if I do makeup थोड़ा भी ज़्यादा, then it will not suit me and my features. So if somebody is, you know, in
Very
this
new
kind
to
of
this.
dilemma, then what are your tips? Like how should they go about this?
So the most important thing is filling your eyebrows. They will definitely change how your face and features look. If you have good eyebrows like you do, then it's not necessary. But if you have uneven or, you know, very scarce eyebrow, then it is essential that you fill your brows. Second most important thing is adding color to your face, because otherwise you look very washed out and pale. So either use a liquid blush that we talked about, or any sort
Lipstick,
of or
maybe.
lipstick, some sort of color on your face. So that and mascara, because that also opens up your eyes a lot.
Right.
So it's not necessary that you do like a full 12-step routine, but like minimal things that will actually, you know, help you build confidence, make you look fresh, and also slowly take your fear out.
One should be following, you know, even for your everyday look.
Yeah, of course.
Which is like makeup, no makeup. I really like how Alia Bhatt's makeup always comes out. You know?
Yeah.
It's like no makeup look. And I think most of the times now I've seen people
following it.
Yeah, following this.
Most of the brides now, they are into no makeup looks, and
That's very minimal and that speaks, you know, highly about you. I personally feel, and that's why I can connect with that a lot.
it is going to be timeless, I feel.
Yeah.
Even 20 years
Very
later,
classic, no?
yeah, whenever you look at your pictures, not gone overboard, you're really gonna like it.
Yeah.
So minimal is the trend these days.
And also, before their appointment day, what do you think the bride should be taking care?
So I always tell all my brides that you should not go for any chemical treatments on your hair, like keratin or Botox, that, you know, adds extra moisture. Another is never condition your hair night before if you're washing. Just shampoo wash your hair. Don't go for new chemical treatments on your face or laser or facials. If you want to go for any of such treatments, try it before 6 to 7 months at least. And on the day of your appointment, I would always ask them to have, you know, ice water dips for their face. It will help them remove the puffiness of all the sleepless nights that they had, and also tighten their pores.
Right.
And it also helps your makeup last very long. So those are important steps that you must take care of.
What are non-negotiables, you know, when it comes to bridal makeup?
Their skin, because that's the first thing you look at. Your skin should be skinning.
Yeah. And that is where I feel the confidence wahan se bhi aata hai. You
Of
know,
course.
it's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we talk about females makeup kit, okay, I am really very curious to know about this. कि क्या क्या होना चाहिए and क्या throw कर देना चाहिए.
Yeah. So this is one thing that people used to have even before they knew makeup.
Yeah.
Even if you look at our mom's bags, they always have a lot of things they're using, not using. So you should have important things that you know, only suit your skin type and color tone, to avoid confusion. Like when you have your kit open, you know that what these things do.
Right.
So essentials, talking about them first. First is a corrector to even out your dark circles. Next is a concealer, that is the exact shade of your dark circles. Foundation, and one compact or a loose powder, whatever you're comfortable with. One powder, 1 or 2 tones lighter or darker to contour and you know, highlight your face.
Okay.
Liquid highlighter or a cream highlighter, whatever suits you. And lipsticks, a few shades lighter, darker, whatever you like. And for your brows, you need to, you know, fill your brows, or you need to have a brow gel or a brow powder. And set your base with a setting spray, mascara.
Can we skip highlighter and keep blush, or either ways, or both are important?
I think both are important. They do different jobs.
Okay, so ideally
both are recommended. For highlighter, you know, you just apply on your cheekbones. Wherever you have the bone structure, that's where you apply your highlighter. to have that, glossy skin look that everybody wants.
And I've seen lots of influencers using this technique. Skin na unki shine karne lagti hai.
Yeah.
So why is it and how is it?
Yeah, so there's this body oil that has shimmer inside. We use it for, highlighting your collarbones or your skin. If you have certain outfits that elevate your, collarbones here or the skin that is going to show. So you make sure that it's very highlighted and dewy. So for that, you get these body oils in the market available. And if you don't have them, you can create your own. You mix your foundation with a powder highlight that you have and a little bit of Johnson's baby oil.
Right.
You mix all of that together and then apply on your hands and feet wherever you want.
Oh, great. I think I'll be trying this. What's the biggest advice you would like to give to the people who are listening to this podcast of ours?
So I feel like you should all feel very confident in your own skin, and it is very important to enjoy makeup, but also look and feel like yourself. You can always take inspiration, but don't mimic something that's not you.
That's not,
So I think you find your superpower and then follow it, take inspiration, but don't copy things, and be confident.
And I would like to add one more advice that, I've recently thought it would be very helpful is when it comes to brides, most of the times क्या होता है कि bridal like functions are for very long. जहाँ पे भी आप makeup करवाओ ना अपना, वहाँ से swatches ले लो. Like if that person is using, if that makeup
I would
artist,
give them to my brides.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't think अहमदाबाद में कौन देता है, but I would recommend कि आप ना मांगो makeup artist से swatches. कि जो भी product आप पे use की है, for example, if they have used certain shade of lipstick, then just ask them.
Swab. Yeah.
Yes.
So recently we've started doing that because pehle everybody wasn't that conscious about pictures and it was not a big thing. But now you want to look the same from the start of your entry till the end of the event. Yeah. So I would give them like lipstick swabs, cotton swab mein lipstick ka thoda shade in a ziploc, and then I would ask them to keep it with them. Base ko generally kuch nahi hota, it stays very long, but lipsticks do require touch-ups at times. You're eating, you're having water or something or the other.
Right. No, but Sajni, thank you so much for your time, and it was great having conversation.
Thank you for
hope all
having
the techniques and hacks that we have discussed will be very useful to people who are listening.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.